That Kid is an emerging pop artist from Denver, Colorado with a unique and interesting new approach to pop music. That Kid is a great artist, and hopefully this video helps you learn a little more about him. Growing up in Denver, That Kid had a creative side from a young age. As a kid, That Kid's favorite hobby was artwork, with oil pastel being his main medium. Music also entered his life early as well. That Kid picked up playing cello in school at 11 years old and was passionate about playing for the next 7 years. That Kid grew up listening to music his parents enjoyed until middle school, when he formed his own music taste. A few artists he first enjoyed include Kreayshawn, Kitty Pryde, Unicorn Kid, The Cataracts, and Charli XCX. Later, That Kid went on to enjoy artists such as Kim Petras, Destiny's Child, Soulja Boy, and Janet Jackson, amongst others. He also enjoyed PC music in his mid-teens. Currently, That Kid cites Kylie Minogue as the biggest inspiration for all his new music coming out. By the time That Kid was 14 years old, he was growing bored of doing artwork but still had an itch to creatively express himself. He recorded his first song at 14 using a laptop that he owned and his father's old gaming headset. When That Kid first started making music, he was making beats and doing rap vocals, but said he didn't think he was a great rapper. A few months later, he decided to try singing, making experimental R&B, but didn't think he was a great singer either. Despite not thinking he was great at singing, he had a passion for what he was doing and stuck with it. That Kid decided to take some singing lessons and got involved with the school's choir. As far as learning how to work his music software goes, he said he would watch tutorials on how to do something and then adjust what he learned to fit his personal sound through trial and error. From the beginning of making music, That Kid was doing a mixture of making his own beats for his songs and pulling beats from YouTube. He was also mixing his own music at the time. That Kid originally was making music on FL Studio but switched to Ableton and Audacity later into 2018. He said in his opinion these music softwares work better for pop music. That Kid said it was a very slow progression to get his music the way it sounds now. In 2016, after a few years of making music, That Kid started to find his sound in pop music. By the time 2017 rolled around, That Kid started to work directly with producers. It was at this point That Kid started sending out his demos to his producers for a more professional sounding mix. A few producers he enjoyed working with early on include Aisha Erotica, Boysim, and Donatachi. It was also in 2017 when That Kid first started to share his music publicly. He released 3 tracks exclusively to SoundCloud produced by a producer known as Floaty. These songs didn't get much attention other than from friends he showed the songs to. In September of 2018, he took these songs down before releasing his first hit single titled Dial Tone, featuring artists known as Aisha Erotica and Slater. That Kid said he felt Dial Tone was much better than the first 3 and wanted it to be his official debut single. That Kid put Dial Tone on all streaming services through DistroKid after a suggestion from Slater. Dial Tone immediately started getting attention, blowing up on Twitter. It's interesting to me that Twitter was such a catalyst for That Kid's music career. A Charli XCX Twitter group chat is where That Kid met Slater before the collaboration on Dial Tone. That Kid had met Aisha in SoundCloud DMs even earlier, but also met one of his graphic designers known as Glitchmood in the Twitter group chat. After seeing the success of Dial Tone, That Kid figured that people wanted more music from him and went on to release a single roughly once a month for over a year. About 5 months into releasing these monthly singles, That Kid lost his job working retail in the mall. These singles were doing well and That Kid received a big check for his music streams around this time. That Kid then decided to take the chance working full-time on music. The last single in this series was released on October of 2019. With more time to work on music, That Kid was gearing up for his first official project. That Kid released his mixtape titled Crush in March of 2020. That Kid said the tape did a lot better than expected and cemented him as a real artist. He said he felt Dial Tone got people talking about him, but after Crush release, people looked at him as a real artist rather than someone who just put music out on Twitter from time to time. The same year, That Kid went on to release remixes of the songs off of Crush and a double single. In early 2021, That Kid released big singles such as Boost Mobile and Mile High Club that found success. Later into 2021, That Kid released his next mixtape titled Come Down. The song Cobra off of Come Down was the first official music video That Kid released. He had some low-budget webcam videos before this, but wanted something more professional. The latest project That Kid released is the project titled Superstar that was released in September of 2022. That Kid has performed live a good number of times throughout his career in music. The first live show That Kid performed was at the venue 7th Circle in Denver late into 2018. That Kid went on to do his first headlining show at the venue Elsewhere in New York during September of 2022. The New York show was nearly sold out. A few more collaborators That Kid really enjoyed working with aside from names mentioned earlier include Terror Jr., Pedal Supply, Ravenna Golden, Umaru, Liz, and Underscores. I personally found the Terror Jr. collaboration to be cool for That Kid, considering growing up he was a fan of the co-member David, who was a part of the Cataracts. Currently, That Kid is looking into getting some sort of distribution deal. We can expect That Kid to release a lot of singles in the near future as a way for him to help grow his fanbase. That Kid merch should be available soon as well. There's a lot to look forward to in That Kid's career and I'm excited for it. Well, that's all for this video. Big shout out to Hopeless for the edit, and please subscribe for more mini documentaries on various underground artists.